guys, welcome back to another video. It's your girl Christina Fashion. In today's video, I'm gonna talk about how and why I started my jewelry business. I haven't done a video like this in such a while. The last video where I talked about how I started my business or even kind of why I did it was like a year back. I know so many of my lovely subscribers have been with me for a year now, and I figured why not share a little tea about who I am and why I do what I do. If you don't know who I am the founder and owner of a jewelry brand called Best Girl Store, and that is my little baby. I've had my brand for like 2 years now. I run a jewelry shop where I empower women through words of affirmation, unique jewelry pieces that I design, and I create a collection and I just empower women and affirm them and the uniqueness of who they are or who they want to be. And that is what my brand is all about. I never saw myself selling jewelry, but I've always been into fashion. When I was growing up, I started, I was creative, I was drawing, sketching. I was kind of like that art kid, you could say. I was kind of a loner, just a good kid, and I used to draw, paint a lot. One time my painting got into a competition and someone almost bought it, but they didn't end up buying it. But that was just me as a child. My parents came from the Caribbean and they just wanted a better life for me and my 2 brothers. So that kind of gives you an idea of like how I grew up. Parents, were kind of strict. They didn't want me having too many friends, so I didn't really have too much friends growing up until like high school. And then I started kind of like, friending some people, seeing who I wanted to be my friends. But long story short, I was always to myself, always to my thoughts, just always thinking like in the future, thinking deep, thinking like how I want to help my parents, how I want to create this money, generational wealth. I don't know, I was thinking real deep as a child. I just knew I wanted better for my parents and for myself. One thing my mom always has taught me is manifesting, because like I grew up in church and like manifesting was such a big part in the Bible. At least for me, it was big for me growing up, knowing that whatever you say has the power of life or death. Don't want to get too far into the word, but I always wanted to manifest a better life for me, a better life that I wanted to live, wanted to manifest my dream. But I never really knew what I wanted to do. But one thing was so big for me was fashion. I always loved fashion. I love shopping, dressing up, just looking cute, And I actually, my first job was in retail. It was express, and I was working at the mall, so I was always shopping here and there, kind of seeing what like was in store and kind of figuring out what was quality, what was not quality. From there, I kind of saw like the jewelry in some of these shops were not quality. They were like costume cheap jewelry pieces. I would buy them, but they would like rust on me. So I kind of saw like the gap between like the fashion industry, like people weren't placing a big emphasis on jewelry, or they just they didn't sell quality or care to sell quality, unless you bought expensive pure gold jewelry, which not everyone could afford pure gold jewelry. Kind of like where my journey started is as I went to high school and I was almost about to graduate, I didn't really know what I wanted to do for my life. Like honestly, I knew I didn't really want to work corporate, because I was like, how am I gonna build wealth fast or have the life that I want if I go to corporate or if I have a job. And there's no shade to a job, I just feel like when I thought about it, it just didn't make sense. So I figured, why not start a business? When it was time for me to choose like what career I was gonna do in college, honestly I didn't know, so I decided to major in business college. And then I started my first business while in college. I started sunglasses business. Don't know why I started, honestly. Like I was scrolling through Instagram one day and I saw that there's a good profit margin when it comes to selling sunglasses. You can buy for low and then sell it for expensive, because sunglasses was trending at the time. I was like, it's always sunny in Florida, so who doesn't want sunglasses, especially if it's fashionable? I don't know, y'all, why I started selling it, because I don't like sunglasses. If you know me, I don't personally wear sunglasses, so it just kind of felt fake. It kind of felt forced, and I wasn't putting too much effort into selling these sunglasses. Like, honestly, I was barely getting any sales. I was barely making any money and making any profit, honestly. Like, it just wasn't up to par. Like, I wasn't putting effort where you can see my growth within the business. The only way I was able to make profit was when I went to like pop-up shops. I would sell my sunglasses and I would make money that day. But other than that, I didn't have any marketing strategy or anything else like that would help me get sales. So then I realized I had to like make a change. I started planning and figuring out like what can I combine that's like my purpose or what I like, that's still in the fashion business. I didn't want to start a clothing boutique because I just felt like it would be a lot of money, like to have different sizes, and I wasn't sure about fabrics. So I was like, what can I do to empower women? Because at the time I was in my growing up, elevating and glowing up like journey, just becoming a better woman, leaving old habits and starting to elevate, because I started to manifest a lot of things into my life. It was like, what can I do that can empower women to start elevating? Because I noticed that when I manifest, it happens. When the light bulb switched and I was like, I can sell jewelry, because jewelry is very sentimental. You always wear it, you never really take it off, especially if it's high quality. And I can really put my creative artwork into these jewelry pieces, and that's how like I started my brand and why I did it. You know, I wanted to affirm women through that, just because I'm big on manifestation. And then so my first necklace was my 6-figure necklace. When it came to finding suppliers, like honestly, I didn't know what I was doing. I went on Alibaba.com and I was just looking for vendors. Like, you know, there was not too many people actually on YouTube talking about how to start a jewelry brand, and that's the reason why I started my channel, to share my journey of running my jewelry brand, because there was no information out here, barely any information. So when I started looking, I started kind of just experimenting, testing out. I honestly just took a risk. I mean, I had nothing to lose, honestly. I mean, I spent money on fashion, on nonsense, so I didn't mind losing money if I had to figure out who was the right vendor for me and for my brand. So I did that. I mean, I was lucky enough to find a vendor who was just quality, and I figured, I mean, it was common sense. You know, I searched up what was quality material, and you know, stainless steel was quality, affordable to buy in bulk, and it does not tarnish. It's just not pure gold. So I figured, okay, I'm gonna work with this material. And also steel and silver was a good option as well. So I contacted the vendors, and you know, they were nice. They responded real quickly, and then I sent them my design, my sketch, and they were able to create the item for me. And once I got the sample piece, you know, it looked good, and then I just started promoting the 6-figure necklace. Able to afford my inventory by using the money from financial aid, from credit cards sometimes, just using money from my income or money from taxes that I receive at the end of the year that I wasn't planning on doing nothing with. So I just used all those sources and I funded my business. So that's a little bit on how I was able to find my supplier and find the fund for it. There's always a way to do it. You just have to do it. A lot of people make excuses, but if you really want that dream or you really want to try something out, go ahead and do it. The biggest thing you can do is, you know, not ever do it, then you'll have regret. You'll never know if you could have done it. And I failed so much in my business. Before I even started my jewelry business, I failed at my sunglasses business. At one point I was trying to wholesale in real estate, and I almost got my first deal, like a 10K deal, and I failed at that. Like, as soon as we were about to sign the paper, he bailed out, and honestly, I could have stopped from there. I tried being a social media manager. That didn't stop me from trying new things and running a business, because I knew I always wanted to be self-employed, because I get bored easily and I wanted to have control of my time, my freedom, and as well as not be limited to the amount of money I can make. So that was like my big why. It's so important to have a why for your brand, and as well as having a brand story. If I didn't have a brand story to my brand, like I would not have been where I am now, because people relate to my brand story. They feel a human connection with me and with my brand, and that's how I'm able to create trust with new subscribers and new followers. And basically how I got my first sale was basically promoting it in different groups, reaching out to people via DM, letting them know like I have my brand opening up. I had them sign up to my landing page, and from there I was able to send out like weekly emails leading up to the launch, and I was just getting people really hype about it. So the day of the launch I did really well. I don't recall how much I made, but that was my first necklace. I didn't do too bad. Well, I launched it around like December going to January, so kind of in the shopping holiday season, and then I had to figure out what I wanted to sell next. And I wasn't really trying to sell jewelry that's out here in the market. I wanted to put my own creative spin into it. I wanted to be my artwork. I wanted the pieces to be unique. Then I took a slight break, and all this time I was in college, so I was like really busy, like going to work, going to college. I released my next design around June, and it was my round and bougie and golden necklace. That was one of my first big break in sales. Like honestly, I went from making $47 in May to making like $1,400 in June within that first month, and that was like my first big sale. I was like ecstatic because y'all, like, I don't know what happened, but that month was a really good month. It was a time during COVID. No one was really going anywhere, so they were shopping, hoping that the world was gonna open back up. It was during Black Lives Matter movement, and it wasn't even intentional. I started doing the sketch of the brown bougie and golden necklace. That was months before the whole Black Lives Matter movement happened, and where they were promoting a lot of black businesses. It was just perfect timing, honestly. And people bought left and right, from Twitter to Instagram to like word of mouth. I don't know, it was like a domino effect, honestly, y'all. So I was very thankful that that happened. Originally, what inspired my brand name, Best Girl Store, was basically empowering women to be the best version of themselves. So I took the word best, and then also I wanted to empower women was my target audience. So Best Girl Store was created. So then I had to think of a design idea, and I couldn't really think of anything. I wanted a monogram for my brand, like something that was luxurious but also casual at the same time, like a casual luxury look. So I seeked out a designer, and one of my friends, she has her own brand called Ava Beauty. She sells cosmetics. She her partner is a designer, and I contacted him, and we were able to create a monogram for my brand, which I love. I've always had mixed feelings about like my brand name, because I sometimes felt it was childish. I don't know why I have this thought, but I just don't feel like it's giving that oomph factor that I want, and it's hard for me to come up with new names because I love my monogram. So I have this like slightly love and hate relationship with my brand name. I love the idea that it's inspired from empowering women to be the best version of themselves. Comment below if you like the brand name. As far as like branding and marketing, I'm always changing it up. Every year is different. Like I remember like Instagram was a big part of my sales, but now like TikTok lately has been a big part of my sale and my business. So now I am consistently promoting it now on there. So that's where I'm spending most of my time. Lately I have been posting every day to see like the growth of my sales. So I will be making a video to update you guys on that process of my business. Like that's really basically my brand story of how and why I started my jewelry business. I hope you learned a little bit more about who I am and where I came from, and hope you enjoyed this video. And leave your comment below and let me know what inspired you to start your own business and what is your why, and let's start a conversation. Thank you and have a great day.